Hello and welcome to Deliberately Creative. I'm Stephanie and I want to welcome you to another drawing lesson from my sketchbook. This time we are doing a sweet little charcoal kitten with bright blue eyes. That's how I colored him in. You can color him any way you want. Come with me and I'll show you how fast, fun, and easy this little kitten really is.
And this kitten is like laying on a bunk bed and kind of looking over the top edge. So there's a hard line, kind of like this. And then there's the angle of the kitty. So this would be like the back of his elbow back here. And his arm is coming out like this, his paw. And then it's sort of draping down and wrapping over a little bit. And kind of comes up like this and then ends up on that hard line right here. So really it's up a little bit higher here, comes down. I've got the little claw or the little toes about right, and it doesn't matter that I got that line in the wrong place, because this edge right here is actually more shadow, and this edge down here, he's got a bit of shadow. And there's a tiny bit of light that runs along this outside edge right here and along his toes and paw. So we're kind of like this. All right, so then he's got a little bit of fur coming off the back here. That would be like the back of his elbow. And this is coming down like this. Now, his face, I may have put this in the wrong spot. His face comes around like this. We're going to lose part of his ears. And sort of goes up to a point, goes out. He's got an ear that goes up, nice big ear. And it kind of comes down and then does that little ear skin thing right there. It's got a bit of a little wrinkle right here and a bit of a line right there. And so now I've got the area where the fur is on the top of his head and fur in front of his ear. You notice I'm doing all the things that don't include the eyes right now, because the eyes are the part that kind of scare me. I have a hard time getting eyes in correctly. So let's see here. This bit right there, this ear is coming off this way and it's going up like that. And then he's got all that hair flickering across the inside of his ear here. And this is really in shadow, so I can put that into shadow. There's a bit more fur that comes out across this way. And so we're at the side of his face right there. And his, like the top of his shoulder is right here, kind of goes up and comes down just a little bit. And then it's the back of his arm, back of this, there we go. Now you see what I was doing. And we still have a little bit of that hard line right here. So yeah, I'm working my way up to the eyes. We've got his ears in. We've got, well, the part of the ear and a whole ear. And now I need to go ahead and just get that hair flickered in. And those light little hairs on the tips of his ear, just delicate little hairs. So there's kind of a shadow down deep inside, and there's hair, and there's some shadow deep inside of there, and there's a bit of a shadow deep here, and then we've got this hair that sort of hangs out in front of that. And now this one really is going to be dark inside there. His head is actually shadowing most of this ear. Let's see. I want to get a little bit more fluffy. He's a kitten. Now I'm going to have to rotate this just a little bit so that I can get that little bit of fluff on the edge and figure out what's going on here. So this fur is coming down. This fur is going across. And he's really a short-haired cat, so there's going to be a lot of his fur is just going to be implied by the color. We're just getting some of this outside edge in. But this is much darker down inside here, so I'm just going to go ahead and get that dark. So now, right above here, he's got kind of like a little heart nose. A little bit of a heart that then you just cut in just a bit. And then going up, this space right here ends up being about double that between the eyes. So if I go the corner of this eye and the corner of that eye, bring that down just a little bit. So the corner of the eye is here, the corner of the eye is here. And kittens have very big round eyes. Their eye is very big and round, almost like when I did that owl. Big and round. Then he's got a heavy underlid. A heavy underlid. And then a heavy overlid that comes over the underlid. Over and under. And this one. Let's see. Then we've got the bridge of his nose that comes up, and there's like a muscle over their eye. kind of where the eyebrow sort of goes. And he's got fur that goes up and out. Look at that. He's got spots where whiskers come out of. And he has a fairly open pupil because it's relatively darkish where he is. And there's some light from a window that's coming here. I'm going to go ahead and color his pupil in, leaving that space for the light. And then he's got a bit of a space for light here, and a fairly big pupil on this side also. Now he is going to end up being sort of a blue-eyed kitty, I think. And now I'm taking some liberties here. I'm just giving him some there we go. I'm just giving him a little bit of a kind of a stripy pattern to him. Although he's more of a gray cat, he's got a little bit of a stripiness. And he's going to end up with a lot of his color coming in from the Inktense color. There we go. All right. How's that? I really, okay, I'm very happy with him so far. So what we're going to do is he is going to have blue eyes, but his blue can't be all the same blue. So I'm going to start out with, whoops, well, I'll have to get a white pen. I'm going to start out with the blue. Just like that. Nice and just really blue. Okay? But then I'm going to grab a little bit of a green, kind of turquoise color, to get in here and darken up along the top to give us some shadow. Just a little bit. And maybe even just a tiny touch of it down low. Around the edge. Oh, that is sweet. That's looking really good. All right, so I'm going to let that dry for a little bit, and I want to put in the lightest gray. The lightest gray here. And because this is ink, to get my gray, all I'm going to do is get some of the block pigment down here onto my freezer paper and add a lot of water to it. We're just going to go in and put this gray in. I'm not too worried because this is actually going to be my lightest gray. And now his nose is sort of a blue-gray, dark blue-gray. So I'm not too, you know, if I get some of this gray over his nose, that's okay. We're just going to get this base color in. And there's not even any pink inside of his ears. His ears are actually very pale. So now what I want to do is grab maybe a little bit of this slightly warmer gray. Sort of a reddish gray. And I am going to put some of that right here and along his stripes, and just sort of let those bleed out a little bit. You know, I'm not too worried here. I'm going to go ahead and drop some of that sort of reddish gray into his ears. Just let that sort of bleed along. And right up here at the top. Look at that. All right, I want to dab that just a smidge. Aww, he's just looking so sweet. You never know that he was just out there tipping over the flower pot in the living room. He's hiding. I'm making stories. And now let's see. Ooh, that's a much more greeny gray. Problem with Inktense blocks is that unless you read them, you don't know what you're looking at. Oh, that's actually nice. That's nice. We'll go ahead and drop some of that on here. This is all experimentation. The paper is pretty wet, so the color is blooming a little bit, or flowing. I'm going to go ahead and use this as my darker color, my dark gray, right down along here, along that eye right there, a little bit in here, and a little bit in his ear. We're just getting all kinds of colors down deep in that ear. So now I want to put some of this under here, under his arm, under his paw. And I'm kind of going the direction of the fur. There we go. Get a little bit more of that up here. I want to leave up along his back really light. Just going to put some water on there and let that sort of move around just a bit. Because we are just about done here with this little kitty. Because I don't want to do too much and have him end up being so saturated with color. I like it sort of this not a total coverage. It doesn't have to have that. It is just a Inktober sketch, and it's helping me to learn how to do certain things without a little bit dark in here. It's helping me to learn without having to feel like I'm going to ruin something if I do too much experimenting. This is where you experiment. This is where you learn. And I hope that you're enjoying this. If you are, please click that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share the video with your friends. Make sure to leave me a comment and let me know if you like what you are seeing, if you are enjoying this. I'm just going to put just a quick wash of that little bed frame, just a bit. And remember to go out and do something creative. Take care of yourself so you can take care of those around you. And I hope to see you back here really soon. I have to wait for that to dry before I can sign it. Take care. Bye-bye.